There's no denying that this is one of the most evocative badges that's ever been screwed to a car. Now, it's over 20 years since BMW's motorsport division created the first M3, and it was a road-going version of a race car, never intended to become a model in its own right. But after 2 decades and 4 generations, that's exactly what's happened, and the M3 has moved away from its stripped-out roots to become a plush performance car. The question is, do they share any of the same DNA? Well, that's what we've brought these two together, the Brecon Beacons, to find out. The original E30 M3 first arrived in the UK in 1987 and quickly acquired cult status. Now, like its successors, this was far more than just a big engine and a body kit. Compared to the standard 3 Series, the M3 got a different rear screen, widened arches, and because this was the 1980s, a natty rear spoiler stuck to the boot lid. Power comes from a high-revving 2.3-litre 4-cylinder petrol engine, which BMW chose for its ability to tune it for touring car racing. Now, there's not a huge amount of oomph by modern standards. The original car had 200 horsepower, this 1990 version has 215 horsepower, but it only weighs 1,300 kilograms, which means that by modern standards it still feels pretty rapid, and back in the day it was certainly quick enough to keep up with rivals like the Ford Sierra Cosworth. On the road, the M3 feels tall and narrow by modern standards, but there is only one word to describe how it drives, and that's brilliant. The steering is absolutely spot on. The E30 M3 doesn't have a huge amount of front-end grip, but you always know exactly how much is left and how far you can push the car. At the back, there's a limited slip diff to help deliver traction when it's slippery, and although it takes a little while to get used to the dogleg first of the gearbox, when you do, the shift action is wonderfully precise. Now, as you'd expect, the new M3 is a very different beast. Performance is in a different league, which is hardly surprising because this one's got the hulking great 4-litre V8 engine under the bonnet that knocks out 414 horsepower. BMW claims it can get to 60 miles an hour in under 5 seconds. But the big difference from the driver's seat is the sheer amount of technology. It's got an electronically controlled diff, it's got adaptive dampers, it's got this flappy paddle gear shift, and of course stability control, keeping everything in check. On straights or through corners, the new M3 is massively faster than its predecessor as well. Indeed, on these cresty, yumpy Welsh roads, it feels comfortably quicker than anything this side of an Exocet missile. But this M3 also lacks some of the intimacy and communication that makes the original so special. When you drive the two of them back to back, the modern car feels almost too refined, delivering effortless pace without much sense of excitement. One point of similarity between the two cars is the fact that they both look brilliant. The muscular makeover that BMW gave to the original M3 turned into the template for all of its successors, and for my money, the current car is one of the horniest looking things on the road. But despite sharing the same badge, these are two very different cars. Both are relentlessly well engineered, but when BMW comes to create the next M3, I would respectfully suggest it's time to add more of the lightness and simplicity that made the original so special back into the mix.